This is Meagan Mermaid, and today's tapping is called I've Got Me. And this topic is all about giving that energy that we give to other people back to ourselves and finding out what happens when we do that. My mentor the other day was telling us in our class that codependency is the addiction to needing to be needed. So let's break that down one more time. The addiction to needing to be needed. So you need to feel needed in your relationships, in your partnerships. You give all this energy. When somebody needs something, you're there. When they need support, emotional healing, whatever it is, it's so easy for us, especially if you're very empathic, to want to give that energy back to people. But are you giving that energy to yourself? What's going on when you start to have these intrusive thoughts or you're going through difficulties? Are you giving yourself the same amount of energy and love and support that you're giving to other people? Because that is the only way to develop self-mastery, and that is the only way to heal from patterns of codependency. So before we get into our tapping practice today, which is all about tapping out those old limiting beliefs where we give more to others than to ourselves, bringing in that support, becoming our best friend, we're going to choose a few cards. But before we even choose the cards, I wanted to talk about, we're in the middle of Mercury retrograde in Scorpio right now, along with the Mars retrograde. 5 planets are in retrograde, so you may feel like things are slowing down. And especially when Mercury is retrograde in Scorpio, it brings up a lot of our feelings. It's asking us to go deep into our hearts, into our psyche, and figure out what still needs to be healed. So what happens is these feelings start to rise up, things that maybe we weren't able to look at a previous time because we weren't ready to heal that kind of trauma, or we were too busy, or we were distracting ourselves. And so in these retrograde cycles, when things start to get slower, and especially when we're in a time of quarantines or lockdowns or things like that, where we don't have as many avenues or outlets to get out of our heads, then this stuff starts to rise up. And it's rising up because we're ready to look at it. But we can work through some really tough things without it having to be challenging and without it feeling scary, because sometimes when you're in that emotion, it can feel like you're never going to get out of it. It can feel like you're drowning in it. But if you can become the compassionate witness and you can acknowledge and say, yes, this is sadness. This is grief. This is jealousy. This is anger, whatever it is. It's all okay, but we have to detach ourselves enough from the emotion to have compassion for the one that is experiencing it. And so let's see what the cards have to say about how we can really have ourselves. How do we get ourselves? I've got me. What does that mean? It means that whatever you're going through, that you've got your own back. You're your best friend, that you're making the space around you, the environment around you, as beautiful as possible while you experience difficult emotions. And when you do that, number 1, you heal faster. Number 2, your inner child starts to trust you, which triggers awesome visionary creativity. And number 3, you move through it in a better way so that you can help others, because that's really the whole purpose of why we go through any of these experiences of suffering, is so that we can walk others through how we did it and use our mermaid toolkits. So let's see what the cards have to say. The first cards that we have from the Mermaid Oracle deck is, we have 2 cards. We have Air and Falling in Love. This is very interesting because we're in Libra season. We just had a new moon in Libra. And so romance, of course, is on our minds. But again, in love, we have to have this balance, this equal balance of air, so that we're not getting deflated in our relationships. And in order to fall in love, there's nothing wrong with sacred partnership. We're all worthy of it. We're all deserving of it. But if you want this, you have to first give it to yourself. You have to fall in love with you. You have to get you. You have to be there for you. I know in all of my previous relationships, I've made the same mistake of needing to be needed, and I will give my expertise and my creativity and my time and build them up and want their passions and their ambitions to flourish, because I love them and I care about them. And then what happens, what I did in the past, is that I would put my own creative projects on hold, or I wouldn't put as much energy into them because the relationship became the most important thing for me. And so in order to feel safe in this relationship, I had to keep helping them. I had to keep making them feel like I was needed so that they wouldn't leave me. See how codependency and all this stuff works? Well, it never turns out to work out in the end because obviously it hasn't for any of those previous relationships. So you may be able to relate. So let's see what the tarot card says. If we want this love, if we want this equal exchange of energies, what do we need to do? How do we heal from this deep-seated belief? It's a core belief that we're feeling as a collective. It's in the collective consciousness. It's a safety mechanism. So we don't have to shame ourselves for feeling it, but we don't have to stay there either. So the tarot card is the Fool. So this is the first card in the tarot, and it's all about new beginnings. It's about taking that leap of not knowing what's coming next, but trusting that if you take that jump, that Spirit is there to catch you. So it might be very challenging. It might feel uncomfortable to work through some of those limiting beliefs and detach and feel like, wow, like if I focus on me and if I put myself first, am I still going to be able to have a healthy relationship? Am I still going to have time for partnership? And a lot of those types of questions can come up in our minds and in our psyches. So let's see, we have, how do we move through this? Playtime. So it's definitely about play. Mermaids are all about play. They want us to play first before we work and to get into that energy of joy and childlike playfulness. And remember that even when we're feeling uncomfortable emotions, we don't have to take it so seriously. We can have fun. We can laugh through it. And lastly, the card is tranquility. So make time to relax, be still, and enjoy your solitude, indulging in much needed self-care. So self-care, again, even though we have this picture of the mermaid in her bath, it's more than just baths and candles and relaxing meditative music. It's like we talked about, it's being there for us, for ourselves when we're going through this difficulty, and realizing that we need to be needed by ourselves. We need to give ourselves all of that medicine of love, of compassion, of fullness, of vitality. And when we do that, we're so full in ourselves because we can only find that light within us. Then when we enter into sacred partnership, it becomes this bonus where we're not needing each other, we're not clinging to each other, but we're actually two whole, happy, healthy beings that can enjoy each other, and it's all a bonus. And that's what we're going to do in our tapping series today, is figure out how to get ourselves, have our own backs. And you can do this anytime you like, no experience needed. And you can think of a number before you start. How invested am I in needing validation from others from 0 to 10? Rate yourself. And then at the end, rate yourself again of how you're feeling. And do this as many times as you want. This is one of the many great tools in our Mermaid Toolkit. Tapping is so powerful. You can tap out of belief systems. You can tap in healthy thoughts. You can tap in what you want to manifest. So let's get started and follow after me. We're going to start with the karate chop point, and this is where we talk about the issue. Starting with the karate chop point. I haven't been putting myself first. In fact, I've been putting myself down. Maybe I've compared myself to other people. Maybe I've even compared myself to myself. And I've been going through some difficult experiences. And maybe I haven't been on my side. Maybe I've been guilting myself or shaming myself, or feeling like if I had a relationship, or if my relationship were better, or if I did more, achieved more, healed more, then maybe I'd be worthy of love. And that's bullshit. I know better than that. So even though I've been feeling a little unworthy, and I haven't been there for myself. I still love and accept myself unconditionally. And maybe, just maybe, anyone else who may be involved. Starting with the side of the eye. All this anxiety, all this regret, all this shame, all this fear. It's been a difficult time. The world is going through a lot, and I'm going through a lot. And even though I've been experiencing these difficult emotions, maybe I haven't held myself as much as I could. Maybe I haven't extended a lot of compassion or empathy or forgiveness to myself. Maybe I've blamed myself or thought if something was different, then it would be better. But I'm done playing that game. I'm done making myself feel worse than I already need to feel. Because my divine birthright is empowerment and joy and love and happiness. And so I know that I've learned a lot through suffering in the past. And it's helped me grow. But I don't have to learn that way anymore. I can learn through love. And that love starts with self-love. So today I'm committing to getting me. I have my back. I'm there for myself. I am my own best friend. I am in love with myself. I am my biggest cheerleader. When I need to feel difficult emotions, I hold myself with compassion. And I know that whatever I'm feeling, I'm gonna make it through. And I'm gonna celebrate myself for every single step that I achieve, even if it's little, even if it's just a tiny little thing. I'm gonna celebrate me. Like a soccer mom cheering on the sidelines. I'm gonna be a soccer mom to myself. And I'm gonna be a beautiful mom to my inner child, letting them have whatever their feelings are, making them feel included, making time for play, making time for self-care. And I know that I'm worthy of a great relationship, whether I'm in one now or whether I'm calling one in. But in order to have that great relationship, I know that it all starts with me. Loving myself, accepting myself, forgiving myself for those times that I gave more to others than I gave to myself. Those were valuable teaching tools. Today is a new day though. And I love myself exactly as I am. Because when I love myself as I am now, it's going to be so much easier to improve on the things I need to improve on. But I'm always going to treat myself with respect. And I'm always going to acknowledge what's going well, the things that are great about me. I'm going to praise myself for my strengths. And I'm not going to criticize myself for falling short or making mistakes. And when I need to feel sadness or grief or anger or anything else, I'm going to create a beautiful environment so I can feel with style and luxury. And I know that when I begin to do this, everything in my life will change. And I'm going to easily call in all the right people and the right circumstances doors are going to open and things are going to flow to me easily because I'm magnetic, and my self-love is going to bring love in new ways that I could ever even imagine. So even though I haven't done that in the past, today I've got me. 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 Everything I need is within. Everything I want is already here inside of myself. And so it is. Taking a deep breath in, breathing it out, and make sure you drink lots of water because we just tapped out a lot of stuff and you want to have that fluid so that you feel good, that this new belief can integrate in. And if you'd like more information on how to create a mermaid mindset, how to make sure that when those intrusive thoughts come in, that you're ready, that you're armed with your mermaid toolkit, let me know. I'm offering a mentoring session or a mentoring container beginning in November, and I offer astrology sessions, which are really a safe place to become introspective and learn about who you are, why you came here, what your purpose is, in a safe and supportive healing environment. The Healing Cove is where we create our astrology sessions and my card readings. So feel free to reach out, check out my offerings on meaganmermaid.com. If you're not subscribed already, what are you doing? You're missing out on my weekly newsletter of tapping and astrology tips and much more. And you will get a free mermaid meditation for your inner child when you sign up at meaganmermaid.com. So I'm wishing you a beautiful week, and until next time, angel wishes and mermaid kisses. And when you're ready, after this tapping series, make sure that you comment below with "I've got me" so that we can celebrate each other. And until next time,